Greetings. Couldn't wait to get to the hockey cabin to start this Krackin Canuckleheads on a very eventful Tuesday in the National Hockey League. In fact, opening day in the National Hockey League. There were two games played over the weekend in Prague, Czech Republic, between the Devils and Sabres. But on this continent, the first hockey game in the NHL was between the Kraken and the St. Louis Blues. And the first goal of the season on this continent was scored by Seattle's Vince Dunn. We're going to tell you how things went south for the Kraken in just a couple of moments. But first, let's throw it to Simmer at the rink, who's got a real quickie report as this thing wraps up.
You know what stood out for me in this game? The fact that, on the good side, the fact that the Kraken defended their home ice and each other with a great deal of tenacity and physicality. Unfortunately, on the flip side, what I'm also reminded of is the fact that last year, the Kraken blew a lot of leads on home ice. They relax, give up a lead, and then they'd be chasing games late. And that is exactly what happened here. The Kraken remain winless in season openers, now 0-3-1. That's it. Simmer, back to you.
Oh, the third-person references. I did speak to both coaches one-on-one after this one. I ran into Dan Bilesma, and of course we talked about the turning point, breakdown in the neutral zone at about 14 minutes into the second period with his team up 2-0. On the penalty kill, a 1-3 arrangement, the three men back along the Seattle blue line. They catch him flat-footed. St. Louis springs Jordan Kyrou up the right wing. Jamie Oleksiak can't reach back and catch him as he blows around Oleksiak to the net and puts St. Louis on the board. And boom, the game completely turns over. And they were off and running from there.
Seattle gets caught flat-footed here. Oleksiak can't turn with Kyrou. It's a terrific pass from Thomas to Kyrou, and then Kyrou's going to take Grubauer to the stick side and slide it through his feet.
They quickly made it 2-2 and went on to win 3-2 on another Oleksiak play. This time, the big Seattle defenseman turned the puck over at the St. Louis blue line. Horrid turnover and on a weak pass, and it resulted in a Kyrou breakaway and the game winner. So the neutral zone penalty kill flat-footed arrangement was pre-scouted by the St. Louis Blues coaching staff. They saw that as a possible vulnerability. This is exactly what Drew Bannister said after the game. It's all built on what you're going to see team to team. We just felt we might get an opportunity, might catch them standing still, and we could use Jordan's speed. And if not, Tomer, that's Robert Thomas, had a lot of speed where he could carry the line. Was that something you noticed on the pre-scout a little bit? Yeah. Okay, so the momentum changed and the confidence level went up for St. Louis. They were off and running. But there was another factor that's often overlooked, and that's the physical play. Ironically, I complimented the Kraken on their physical play, but actually maybe overzealous behavior at the 9:01 mark and at the 13:20 mark of the second period. Kind of a fight that wasn't a fight, and then another scrum, and then Adam Larsson knocks Radek Faksa on his ass, and they get into it. When you're ahead in a hockey game, you don't want that. You want things to just continue rolling along. Both coaches kind of inferred this, that it was a factor. St. Louis, heck yeah, let's go, let's mix it up, cause some problems, stir it up, get the bench fired up, get the players fired up. It used to be fights a lot, intentional fights to change momentum. In this case, just a scrum, some real nasty stuff, a fight that wasn't a fight, all that good stuff. And that immediately led to the power play that led to the Blues getting on the board, and it changed the game. So the turning point was the scrums leading to the power play and then the breakdown in the neutral zone. And then, of course, well, it went St. Louis's way from there. Seattle had some really good chances in the first 5 minutes of the third period, but they couldn't click, and the Blues put this one away. A couple more comments from you from the cabin in just a couple of minutes. Okay, here we are at the cabin. I'm hammering a meal as I have to be relocating to Vancouver this evening, but I just wanted to point out that, opening night or opening day in this case is always special because it reminds me of the relationships and the hockey people that I know and have met over the decades. And that's what makes everything fantastic. That's what makes everything special is the relationships. Acquaintances and friends from all the various cities, and just to run into some of the again today, it was just like, it's what it's all about. Hockey people, it's a community, it's a great big family. You don't necessarily love everybody as much as you love everybody else, but what a wonderful thing. Just one example, I ran into Claude Julien, who coached the 2011 Boston Bruins to the Stanley Cup over the Vancouver Canucks, and I'd worked with him previously in Boston doing television work. And it was just great to catch up. Claude had a little bit of an under the weather health issue about 5 years ago. He's fine. That worked out well for him. But then he told me about another thing that I was unaware of. This is pretty amazing. He's worked with Team Canada quite often as working the Olympics in Beijing. And on their way to Beijing, where he didn't end up coaching, they stopped in Switzerland for some team building and some exhibition stuff. And he was riding a sled and couldn't stop it and flew off a cliff and fell like 50 feet. And I'm laughing now because he's fine and he was laughing. Broke ribs, punctured a lung. And he said if a tree hadn't stopped him, he would have fallen another like 200 feet or something crazy. So holy Claude. Anyway. Fine now, and he's an assistant coach. He got brought on this summer with the St. Louis Blues. He was last a head coach with the Montreal Canadiens. He was Habs head coach twice, but just a wonderful, wonderful guy. And to run into him and speak to some other people and the head coaches tonight, it's really what it's all about. I'm looking forward to, I don't know if I'll still be around here, but when Seattle grows that hockey people base, because it's not there now. But that's okay. We'll get there. We'll get you there. That's it. We'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed the game. Tough finish for the folks in Washington, but more hockey ahead. Cheers.